across the summit, we've been hearing about the BPO sector and the importance that it plays in Belize's economy. And so the Belize's global digital services sector has grown steadily in the recent years, and it has become a significant contributor to Belize's economic development. Some of that growth is as a result of its offering in terms of competitive advantages in the workforce, its proximity to key markets, particularly the North American market, improvements in ICT infrastructure, and as the global demand for outsourced services evolves, driven by artificial intelligence, by cybersecurity, and multilingual support, Belize emerges as a promising location for next generation service delivery. Our panel today will be exploring the sector's transition from the traditional BPO to higher value digital services. They will highlight how Belize is positioning itself to capture investment in areas such as customer experience transformation, in the areas of fintech, health tech, and software development. They will share their perspectives on how we can build the right talent and improve the enabling environment to move Belize up the global value chain. And so we move into the beginning of our discussion, and I would like to invite Mr. David Auha to address our first question for this segment. And just as a brief introduction, Mr. David Auha is a Belizean digital transformation executive and founder of DA Advisory. He specializes in accelerating value delivery through digital services transformation and AI solutions. And so, Mr. Auha, your question is, what, from your perspective, makes Belize an attractive destination for tech and digital services investment?
Happy to be here, and the easy answer is look this way and that way, and you see that beautiful water, and that's the reason why Belize is a good place. But so while I'm a Belizean and I've worked closely with Belizean companies like TechForge, I'm going to answer this from a outside-in perspective, because most of my time I've spent 35 years in tech working with outsourcing to U.S. companies like McKinsey, like Accenture, like Deloitte, who have a full stack of follow the sun. Indian companies like TCS, Tata Consulting, Infosys, and then more boutique companies that do outsourcing. So regardless of what company it is, there's a few characteristics that are just fundamental that you must have, and they're kind of obvious. Number one is you absolutely must have a good infrastructure, and that means high-speed internet, that means telecom network, that means good power grid, and that means redundancy. Okay? Most of the countries that are competing in this space have that, but you must have that as a foundation. Number two, and probably the most important, in this industry, your product, it's people. And the capital, talent, and development of people is number two. And that's a very broad statement because it depends on what your service or your project is in terms of what talent you're looking for. But that's, depending on the project, that's number two. Number three is location. And the good news, we've heard that over and over, location. However, there isn't a one location that's great. So it's not that geographically Belize is located in a place where the time zone is perfect. It's perfect for some projects. But if you think of a project where I want a prototype the next day, ideally I want a 24-hour gap. I may have a project where I want iterative engagement with a client, with a vendor, and therefore I want a close nearby Mexico, Belize, South America, nearshore service. So location is critical. Cost competitiveness. Belize isn't the cheapest location. but it's pretty competitive, right? So it's not about cost. Typically, if you go outsourcing, you're looking at cost reduction in some way, shape, or form, but the other factors play more. You need to be competitive, but you don't have to be the cheapest place. You can go to the Philippines and pay really, really cheap, but you may not get the same talent. And really important, and I'm amazed at what I've heard over the last 2 days. The last is really about the government investment, legislation, and policies to support. And this becomes extremely important as you transition into what's about to come next in the area of AI. The controls and management and governance of data and information is fundamental. And no company will come operate in Belize if you don't have the policies that we heard yesterday and today. The Prime Minister touched on this. Many of the ministers touched on this. I think Belize is well aware and lining up to having the right policies. Let me come back to talent just for a quick second. We talked a lot about upskilling, and the three of us have been talking over lunch quite a bit. Upskilling is not as simple as it sounds. We absolutely need to make sure we upskill the BPO industry to the right level, but the ability to engage in the work that I'm talking about, what I've seen transition from the US to India and to Latin America, is a much, much higher level. And that is not upskilling a BPO resource. That is a completely different game that Belize needs to get into. And that means proper education, building that talent for what I would call advanced. And that's, again, we absolutely need to do that to be competitive in what's to come in the future. And when I say the future, now. AI and what's going to be transitioning. We'll talk about that in a second as well. But Belize is ready. I mean, proven by the BPOs, major BPOs that's operating, all those characteristics exist here already.
The key things to keep in mind from Mr. Auha's presentation are three things. One, we need to have the right infrastructure in place, right? The second one, we need to capitalize on our people and developing the right talent to move the industry to where we want it to be. And then the third one is Belize's location is ideal for these things to happen. And so this lays out a good segue for the next question. So I'm addressing Mr. Tony Arzu. He currently serves as the president of Belize's BPO Association. He brings 2 decades of international experience in technology operations, in business process outsourcing, and public-private collaborations. As BPO president, his focus is on building the employment opportunities and strengthening Belize's digital global footprint. Mr. Arzu, your question is, what are you, as the president of the association, doing to support skills development and digital upskilling to meet future demands? Let's keep in mind that in the recent years, actually since 2024, through the support of IDB and through the support of the BPO Association, the Ministry of Investment has been preparing the guiding strategies and policies to develop the right ecosystem for the sector and to upskill and add value to the industry. So, Mr. Arzu, what's the association's role in ensuring that we develop the right talent and the digital upskills
Well,
to meet future demand?
To add to that, we've also developed a curriculum that can help students, I would say probably in like second form and above, that they can start learning how to work in a BPO environment. But not only in a BPO environment. If you learn customer service, you learn sales, you learn how to show up to work on time, you learn how to take responsibility. You learn how to create reports and all these different things. You can take that and go into any other industry and perform very well. So, and you get the confidence once you've learned these things to walk up to and have an interview. And so we've been working hard on creating it at a lower level. I mean, I know we have all this, right now we have cybersecurity coming, we have ASW coming, we have all this good high-level training coming with the help of the IDB. But the curriculum we developed was to start a little bit lower, to get people going as quickly as possible. A lot of people come into the call center industry and they are thinking it's just sitting on the phone and talking to someone all day. But what happens when you get promoted? And I think all of us in the BPO industry, we try to create a system where everyone can come in, start basic, and then keep moving up. So to be able to do that, we have to provide those necessary training to help them out.
And I think that that's one of the things that the government is trying to do, ensure that the BPO sector becomes a chosen career path, not just at the entry levels, but to be able to move talent up higher tier services. And so I address now Miss Shante Riley. She is the Director of Partnership and Growth at Acuity BPO. She plays a pivotal role in positioning the company as a premier nearshore bilingual customer support partner. And so we've been listening at the necessary ingredients needed for building the sector. And my question to you, Ms. Riley, is from a very realistic view, from your experience working in this sector, what are the barriers and the opportunities that you have encountered in scaling operations in Belize?
Thank you for the question, Carmen. One of the things that we've encountered when scaling operations here is just looking into the location, right? Location for Belize is ideal, especially when we have clients that are coming from a lot of the major cities like Houston, Dallas, Miami, and just to name a few. But also this bilingual talent pool that we have here in Belize is also impressive as well. So when we think about that, that's certainly a great opportunity here. Also, the cultural alignment, looking at Belize and the cultural alignment, a lot of the agents here and the people here in Belize, they are familiar with the U.S. culture, which is going to be very key when having conversations with clients because that's exactly what they're looking for. So I think, as we look at those, things, I think that's certainly something to be proud of. And also the opportunities that the government is providing here, it's also good. Understanding that they are looking more and putting money into the infrastructure is key.
Again, we know that building the right infrastructure is necessary. So we move into the second set of questions for this segment. And Mr. Auha, how can Belize capitalize on global trends like AI, automation, and remote work to scale up? And particularly, I'd like you to address in terms of artificial intelligence and the risk associated with that. How can we transform that risk to building the right confidence for the sector to then integrate artificial intelligence into their operations and use that as a competitive advantage?
Big question. So when Carmen asked me about this question, I said, how do you expect me to talk about AI in 5 minutes or less? This is a topic I'm very passionate about. And a couple things I'll say first. I'll give some context before we get into even addressing the question. First of all, AI is nothing new. It's been around for 50 years. You've been using, everyone in this room, I promise you've been using AI in your email. If you're using Google right now, you're using AI. So we use that term and it's this big, right? I think the first thing is it needs to be simplified on what it means. Let me just share maybe 3 context examples to give us some context, and hopefully as we talk about Belize specifically, it may make more sense. So I worked for Procter & Gamble, and you guys probably, again, everyone here probably have a box of Tide, a Pampers, or Vicks, or Gillette in your house. Massive manufacturer. They have 139 factories around the world, 35 countries. And for about 10 years, we've been optimizing our factories and optimizing with purpose of reducing one of our biggest costs and expense to make products more efficient, right? And what does that optimization look like over the last 10 years? We now have what's called dark factories. Does anyone know what that is? Anyone heard of a dark factory? It's a factory with no lights. Why does it have no lights?
Because you don't need any
Because there's no one in the factory. They don't need
Exactly.
people,
Exactly.
right? So think about that for a second.
Yeah.
A 500 million factory with no people. Now, some early stage, there's still people going in there, but the idea being these factories run themselves. Okay, this is not new. This is happening all over the world already of having these dark factories and dark manufacturing. Okay. Second example, so that's an example of AI at its best. Thousands of sensors in that factory. Second example, Walmart, one of the biggest retailers in the world. My team of data scientists worked on a project 8 years ago to use computer visioning to look at strawberries, to optimize how strawberries get delivered to you as a customer at its freshest point. We use computer imagery to look at a product as it's picked, as it's packed, and as it's shipped to quickly route through the supply chain that product to the right store so that it gets at the store within the right time frame of freshness for a consumer to purchase it, right? Which might be, I don't know the specific science of it, 3 to 10 days for purchase, so it's at its best when you consume that product. Okay, that's AI. Again, we didn't call it that. It's machine learning and computer imaging, but that's AI that's been there 8 years ago. Now, why is it such a buzz on this thing called AI? There's something called ChatGPT. Who's heard of that? Everyone's heard of that, right?
Yeah.
That's a recent thing, and that's a concept called generative AI. That, oh, by the way, ChatGPT isn't the only one. There are tons of various. I use what's called Claude. Google has. I'm going to try. Meta has Llama. Google has Gemini. DeepSeek.
Yep.
And they're all different. They're trained in different ways, right? So I think what has happened is there were, see if I remember the specific, 100 million users of ChatGPT in 2 months. It's the fastest adoption of any technology ever. And that has made it this sort of common terminology. But ChatGPT is a small piece of what's going on in the AI world, right? So again, I share this for context to say this concept is big, and I don't know that people fully understand when we say AI, what are we talking about and what do we want to go do? So let's talk about Belize. Where will Belize play in this space? I think the best advice I heard yesterday from Adam on the tourism industry is know where you want to play, define it, declare it, and go shape it. Okay? No different here. Where do we want to play? Someone asked me, maybe you asked me yesterday, should we be scared? Is it nervous? Is there risk? Heck yes. It's a totally different concept of cognitive thinking, and AI is doing its own thinking and decision making. We should be concerned. But that disruption is happening everywhere.
Yep.
So everyone needs to deal with this. It's the perfect platform to say, yep, it's about to be disrupted. We want to play a big role in here. This is the role we're going to play, and let's go figure it out. And there are lots of different areas. So I'm not going to tell you Belize should go do X, Y, and Z, right? But there's my core, I'm a data guy at heart. And as we were talking, absolutely nothing can happen in AI without data.
Yeah.
So there's an example of just a single thing that you could create an industry around data for AI to enable what we know will happen over the next 15, 20 years, right? I mean, this is not going to stop in terms of the utilization of various forms of AI. So I think Belize has a couple of things it needs to do. One, it needs to stay close to it. It needs to stay educated on it, and it needs to stay in tune with what's happening because it's going to happen very fast. I heard one of the, I guess, transformation that's going to come with AI is it's called a shock factor. When it happens, a lot of things that we've evolved into, it evolves, and you kind of feel it as you go along. What's going to happen is we're going to start to see some dramatic things occur. It's already happening. That will just change industries instantly, right? Let's not wait for that. We should be anticipating that. So one, stay in tune, stay connected, stay educated with what is happening in AI. Make a choice of where Belize will play. We talked a little bit about BPO, and I hear a lot of talk about upskilling. You cannot take the people working in the BPO and upskill them to play in this space. They are two different things. And I think there needs to be a very focused effort on how do we take the BPO market and upskill them to wherever we think they need to go next as that gets impacted. How do we look at the, call it higher scale, and that could be from a engineering development to data science that's going to be fundamental to AI and develop the capabilities there. Okay, so those are strategic choices that needs to happen somewhere. This gentleman here has a lot of impact, right? He influences and works closely with the BPO industry. So, we talked a lot about training and things like that. Somewhere, people need to start bringing this together because it's happening fast, and you do not want to get left behind in this one because the implications of it will be dramatic in terms of what will happen in every industry. I can tell stories about agriculture and what we've been doing at agriculture with sensors and feeding cows and cattle. I mean, these things have been happening. Do not get left behind. That is my core message for AI. Understand it, define it, strategically choose where you want to play, and make sure you make a step forward in it because it's going to happen to us if we wait.
The reality is AI has been here and it's here to stay, and so we just need to evolve with it.
Yep.
The other question I'll be addressing Mr. Arzu with
You
is
mean it in the 7 minutes we got?
yes.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
I told her she's going to have to shut me down because
Oh, and they said they had to shut me down.
I think Mr. Auha pointed it out that you are at a very critical point of influence in making sure that we develop the right ecosystem to drive the BPO sector forward. And so, how can Belize then strengthen its digital ecosystem to support both startups and established service providers?
Well, I don't know if this is working or not. I think this stopped work. Oh, there you go. There's my sexy voice. So, oh, sorry. I was thinking that in my head. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Well, I think we're already doing that. I've been in a couple meetings, I think, with Finance Belize and the EDC, and they're already preparing processes to make things much easier for us to be able to access information. For example, a lot of people want to come to Belize and start a business, but they have no idea how to do it. Who do they talk to? They may hire a consultant to walk them through some stuff, but even the consultants are having issues locating the right person to talk to get information. And I think they're taking steps to make it a little bit more streamlined, meaning you can go online and find out exactly who you need to speak to, what department. Almost like a checklist. Okay, you want to start a business, you need this, and this, and this. As opposed to where we are now, if you call one person, you get an answer, you got to call 5 other persons to get the same answer, or they don't know what it is. So I think right now, I'm already seeing, just by a couple of the other boards I sit on, those changes and those processes are being put in place and online very quickly. That said, I think the government is doing a real good job at looking ahead and trying to create these opportunities for people to get things done a lot faster. And I think that's going to be it. For example, in the immigration, I think I spoke with the head of immigration today, and they're talking about how to be able to get people who want to do a business in Belize, want to start a business in Belize, get them. I'm not going to use the word fast track, but get them their citizenship and get them the papers and stuff like that to be able to come as an investor and keep improving Belize. So I'm seeing the changes already happening.
Yeah. More and more, we're moving toward what is an enabling environment for investments. The government is doing a lot in ease of doing business, and I think that we see the ripple effects that it has
Yes.
on business, right? And setting up those one-stop shops where you can just come and have access to a number of services, I think is important for reducing cost.
Reducing cost and time.
And time for doing
Yeah,
business.
and it's been done on, I can say my own experience that I've gotten a lot of help from the government. I opened a call center in Curzon, and the speed at which I was able to get that up and running compared to when I opened my first one in San Ignacio is completely different. So I can see that they're really supporting growth and business in the country. But not everyone know who to call, what department to go to and who to talk to, and I think that's what they're working on to streamline that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Mr. Zhu. And now we'll be talking about how to build partnerships. Ms. Riley, what partnerships, whether local or regional, could help Belize become that digital service hub that we want it to be?
Okay, so as we talk about partnerships, let's talk maybe foundations a little bit. So at Acuity, one of the things that we do really well is building a really strong culture with our employees. We are about to open a daycare facility on site. We help employees with transportation. We have employee fun days. And also, just being able to offer these services is what's going to help employees be able to come to work and be, the best employee that they can be. So I think just looking into that, but also as the two gentlemen we were all talking earlier, just having more conversations with BPO associations, a company like TechForge being able to provide value and understand, transparently where we all are and where we are looking to grow. I think, just bridging that gap and having that alignment is going to set us up for success. We're going to have a mixer coming up very soon. It's just in the making. We just had a conversation about that, but we're all excited about that. Just being able to all work together, I think it's going to be important. Belize has really great people. And from my experience, just in having conversations, everyone cares, about the job that they do. And being able to partner with the schools, universities, get them certifications is going to be very key in continuing the success here.
Thank you.
I just quickly want to touch on AI in the BPO sector. Thank you, by the way. Appreciate that. We have 1 minute left. Appreciate that, bro. So currently in my BPO, we're using AI for quality control. AI will be disruptive to the BPO industry very quickly. One of the reasons that we're striving to get higher skilled, higher trained is because the basic job like setting appointments, gathering information, even just like a basic sales can be done by AI. And you can have one AI agent do 500 things. You don't have to buy 7, 8 different AI agents. You can have one AI agent answer 500 calls at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. But again, AI is not going to replace humans. Please don't worry about that. But the basic 1, 2, 3 ABC stuff, taking information, what's your name, where you live, what's your address, that will go away very quickly. So it's very important that we work together to get people trained as quickly as possible to start doing the higher tier learning.
Correct.
All right?
And so if you are exploring opportunities in this space, whether as a provider, an investor, or a client, this is the moment to see Belize as a land of opportunities and as that digital bridge to Latin America and beyond. Thank you, and thank you, panelists, for a very interesting and interactive conversation.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, we have time for question and answers, I'm being told. And so if there's anyone with any interesting question, you can. Perhaps as you ask your question, you also indicate who it is that you'd like to address it to. Thank you.
Over here. Oh.
Hello, hi, good afternoon. My name is Travis, and it was pretty good to hear you guys talk about that. I'm the CEO of Talent Connect Recruitment Agency LLC. So basically, what we will be doing, the young man, I forgot what was your name,
David,
David. So what our company aims to do, we aim to not only provide roles for what Belize already has, whether sales, customer service, but what's going to make our company successful is we plan to teach these things. We will facilitate an academy where everyday Belizeans will be able to learn ethical hacking, cybersecurity. We'll have an academy they can learn. And my question is, what would be the biggest challenge that, for example, like a startup like myself will have?
um, I think, again, I'm big on choices and focus. You mentioned cybersecurity and something else.
So we're basically going to position ourselves as a digital and telecommunications solutions provider, since the future is digital and we understand that. And the Belize market hasn't been exposed to that, so we would capitalize as
Yeah.
what I believe the first company to do that.
My suggestion to you would be focus and get a very clear strategy first. Digital is
No,
a big term.
yeah. So our focus, how we will do it, our roles are basically remote. We don't have basically just subscription services what we're paying, but for the most part, our roles are remote. So agent can get a role. As we scale, we're going to provide computers, so that won't be a limitation. So after that, year 3, we position ourselves as an academy where rather than going to UB, you could learn digital skills right at our facilities.
Again, fantastic, but focus.
Yeah.
I can list 10 different domains within digital that are completely different. Cyber is completely different from data science, completely different. So if you don't focus, you're going to be doing a whole lot of things without knowing, in the end, what's the purpose of it? Who are you going to sell that service to and those talent to? Know what that is first, frame that up first, and focus on one thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience?
My mic is not working, so you can't ask me anything.
I actually am going to ask you.
Bloody hell. Okay, go ahead.
So, as a VPO commission, what is the focus on leveraging on education to actually make the VPO industry a growing industry here and secure jobs for the future generation?
Leveraging existing education or more
Leveraging
education?
existing and transforming it for the future.
I do know that there are a couple colleges, universities here in Belize that are currently training very advanced. I think St. John's, from what I heard, they have a very amazing curriculum. I think that needs to be spread across the country overall, not just at one location. I think if we can get, I think someone was talking about they went to a couple of the universities and they were teaching computer repair. Let's stop doing that. Let's get that a little bit higher than that. 'Cause computer repairs, I mean, most people are not repairing computers anymore. It's cheaper to just get another one. Let's find something that people can use and people can actually move forward and create a job. For example, a lot of the projects I have on my floor, hence the word BPO, that's being done in a brick and mortar in the US somewhere. So it's not just selling a widget. It's an actual skill set that you need. So if they get a chance to go to the US or travel abroad, they go there with a skill set as opposed to just having to be a security guard or CNA or something like that. I think we got to create that, give them a skill set that they need. No problem.
One last question from the audience, if anyone would like to. Okay, one more question over at this end.
Minister's up. Any question?
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you so much. I know Mr. Tony was saying that
We
AI
can
won't take
catch
your
up and
job,
talk.
but
Happy to
I
talk.
wanted to know, what does it look like 5 years from now, considering we're seeing
yes,
deep
yes.
fake, Not to put you in the hot seat, but I used to say AI won't take your job, and recently I've been telling people you have to watch out for AI.
I'm intrigued.
Am I wrong?
I want to talk.
Well, I think that if your job is, hello? I think if you have one of those repetitive jobs, you know what I mean, that you really don't need to think, you just get up and do it. You know, you can be talking and it's like typing. Those will get replaced very quickly because it's a simple algorithm to just write it and do it. All right. I have a couple projects on my floor where you have to look at 6 different CRMs. Now that is kind of hard to replace. If I'm sitting to one CRM, I can just put that information on that. So it all depends on what your job is right now. And so it's not going to take your job, but if you have the basic job and you're not increasing your skill and you're not taking the time to learn yourself, you will get replaced. Now everyone knows that there's a thing, such a thing called YouTube University. You can get these skills on YouTube.
Yes.
So do it.
Yeah.
We encourage our agents, we encourage our staff to go and do self-learning, self-paced training. I also suggest certain things they should do because, as I said, they will get replaced. Not out of malice, but the fact is, if I can take those same people and do something higher and pay them more, then I'll take the opportunity to do it as well.